Lately, I've been trying to film some new videos about e-bike destinations, awesome places that you can go ride your electric bike. Jessica?
Yeah, that's me.
But Jessica wanted to show everyone a really cool trail in Tucson, Arizona called...
This is the Loop.
The Loop. It sounded pretty cool. I have never been there, seen the trail, but she has some really cool features that I think you should know about. And also one kind of, I don't know, like deep, dark secret. that
Seriously. It's a pretty big thing.
That you definitely need to know about. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
The Loop is about 131 miles of paved trails throughout Tucson. It's amazing. There are benches everywhere, artwork, repair stations for your bike. People go ride their bikes, they go for walks, they take their horses out. There are venomous creatures everywhere because it's Arizona. And you know, it's to be expected, but it's fantastic. You get to be in touch with nature and ride your bike, and it's just an incredible amount of fun. I went out very early in the morning. Just the peacefulness of the trails and the sunrise, it was just, you have to do it if you haven't gone. It's an incredible experience.
131 miles is a lot of paved trails. I don't know of too many places that have that much all in one place. And they call it the Loop because it literally goes around. Obviously, I've never been there, but I looked at the maps. It goes around the entire town of Tucson, so you can get to quite a few businesses and different places. There's an air museum, might have to check that out at some point.
Pima Air and Space Museum.
So everything about this sounds pretty cool so far. I was looking at the map that they have on the Pima County website, and it's interactive, so you can click on a checkbox and it shows if there's any closures on a certain part of the trail. It shows if there's any detours, like Jessica was talking about, like park benches and different things. You can actually check and see where those are on the map if you want to take a break at a certain spot. There's drinking fountains, also shows where a bunch of the art locations are. I was reading through the rules, which I printed out and left on the printer.
I'll go get those.
The magic of editing will fix everything. Now I have the complete list of Loop guidelines because I wanted to learn more about what the trail is like, what you can or can't do. And most of these things on here are pretty self-explanatory. Like it says, stay to the right, pass on the left, look before changing positions on the trail. Third bullet point on here says no motorized vehicles, which e-bikes are federally not a motorized vehicle, so no problem, kinda, sorta. We'll come back to that one. So everything sounded really good so far.
It's amazing.
I was doing some research for literally this video. They have a Facebook page, The Loop, and see if there's some cool photos from people that are riding the Loop. What are people doing? I'm just trying to learn more about this awesome trail, kind of wishing that I had one here in Grass Valley, which we don't, but
maybe someday.
But maybe someday we will. I was actually talking to somebody just the other day. They're trying to make a trail that goes from Nevada City over to Truckee, which would be awesome because that means I could ride off-road from Grass Valley to like Lake Tahoe.
Wow.
Long ways, but that would be awesome. So I go to the Loop Facebook page online, and from June 28th, I see this post that says in all caps, no motors allowed on the Loop. And then it says under that.
I got this. This includes e-bikes, gas-powered bikes, hoverboards, motorized skateboards, motorized scooters, etc. There are exceptions for ADA-compliant assist devices and official vehicles. Violators are at risk of being cited for a Class 2 misdemeanor. Bring it on.
I've gone into the e-bike laws quite in depth in other videos. I was very surprised to see this post because I was looking at the Loop on the government website and I didn't see this front and center. I was looking at the trails. I was looking at who was riding on the trails. I was seeing people use the trail for e-bikes. And then I see this Facebook post that says e-bikes are not allowed. So I went back to the government website and dug a little bit further, and sure enough, if you dig down far enough in their frequently asked questions, it does say that they do not allow e-bikes. The laws specifically state that class 1 and 2 are allowed by default, but a local municipality or county may create additional rules to restrict them further if they choose, and they have chosen.
But I mean, it's funny that we started researching this after I did it anyway.
That's true. And from what I'm finding online, there's a ton of people riding e-bikes on this path. And I think it's probably because they have no idea that they're not actually allowed.
Right. And Tucson is a mecca for retired people. They use e-bikes every day.
And I wasn't kidding with the title of this video. Tucson literally claims to be the biking capital of the world.
It is, yeah.
And they have banned their biggest attraction to bicycles in relation to e-bikes. That seems rather contradictory, don't you think?
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, is there a reason for this? Like, did people want this? I don't know. Like, what's going on here? Because this doesn't really make sense to me, especially with the average demographics of who's using e-bikes. They're very clearly saying that there's an exception for ADA compliant assist devices. We may or may not get into the weeds more on that.
Or we just might, you never know.
There's 416 comments. Jessica's going to operate the computer now. So I wanted to see, okay, there's...
I just clicked on someone's picture, and
that's some weird stuff there.
This is not a Mac. What is happening?
No, this is not a Mac. So I thought, well, let's read through some. We can't possibly read through all 416 comments, but let's read through some of these. I would say 99.9% of them, maybe 100%, are about e-bikes. Here's what people have to say. Comment number 1. I'm going for it?
You. Me. What are we doing?
Comment number 1 says, the loop. This is short-term thinking. You have an aging population and snowbirds that want to use the loop. These are the main users of e-bikes, I agree. They have the time and money to use these bikes. Do you not want their public support for loop projects and expansion in the future? As a frequent rider of the loop, non-motorized due to age and lack of injuries, I want to see this gem expand and grow over the years. I also want to know that I'll be able to ride my e-bike on the loop in my later years when I need it due to age and probable injury. You're doing a disservice to the community at large, so do some research and let them know you're not stuck in the past. Grow your user base, don't restrict it. This person is not even an e-bike rider. There are quite a few replies to that. Nothing in there is from the loop or anyone who disagrees that I can see. Do you see anything? This is a funny one. You want to take this one?
Yeah, are you going to put in duck noises?
Maybe. We might have to.
The next comment says, is the Pima County seriously going to start arresting all of the mostly older folks that just want to get out and enjoy the loop on their pedal assist e-bikes? I doubt it, because it would make the county look like a bunch of... Anyone who rides the loop knows that those bikes and riders aren't the problem, and literally labeling them as criminals isn't going to help the county build support for future loop maintenance and expansion projects. Oh man, that is I have been a huge supporter of the loop and bicycling in general, but your decision to limit e-bikes that help hundreds of people on the loop get around who could not otherwise is a very bad decision. It's also discriminatory, and I truly hope the city is sued for this.
Ooh.
Dang.
They are not the only one with that sentiment. You got to read that last line.
You should be ashamed.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Wow.
This one, we wouldn't want e-bikes enjoying the safest infrastructure for bikes in the region, would we? The goal should be to get as many people out riding as possible for recreational purposes and commuting.
Utter stupidity and nonsense. True pedal assist bikes have a place on the loop. The majority are utilized by mature adults trying to stay healthy. I can't wait to see a felony stop of an e-bike rider.
It's not a felony. They did say misdemeanor, but still. So here's somebody who actually wrote a letter to the Board of Supervisors for Pima County to request that they change their e-bike policy. And he put the response on here. I just wrote to the Pima County Board of Supervisors to complain about this e-bike policy and ask that it be changed to be in line with the Tucson e-bike policy. Interesting thing to point out that the policy on the trail doesn't match the policy for the rest of the town.
The city.
So, yeah, the city. Yeah. So you can ride your e-bike in the city of Tucson, but you can't go on the trail to like connect from one spot to another. That's
True.
not allowed, which kind of starts to make you wonder why. I was told they checked with trail management, who said my wife could get a permit. He said, I replied and said the policy should be changed. Will police stop her and ask about her health condition?
Wow.
It's inevitable that e-bikes will be used on the loop, so loop managers need to rethink their policy. And I did read through their policies on this and the ADA compliance. I'll admit I am not totally familiar with the laws, but there's a lot of comments on here that are saying that that is not right.
It's basically illegal.
Because they are saying that, yes, you can ride an e-bike if you're disabled, but you're going to have to carry documentation with you and prove that you're disabled if a county official or somebody stops and asks you about it.
Papers, please.
Papers. Of course. Run.
Yeah, but at the same time, they said they needed to demonstrate, what did they say, a demonstrative disability?
Yes, a demonstrable disability. So you
Yeah,
have to show them that you're disabled. That's the way it's worded. I don't know what they would do, but that's what they said.
The part that bothers me, though, is there are people that have disabilities where you can't see them, and they're riding e-bikes. So they really can't prove that, and it's illegal to ask for that documentation. So it's really interesting how the loop has their own rules, like you were saying. City of Tucson has their own rules.
I won't read all of this comment, but the first part's funny. Oh, here we go. Let's see your prescription for that e-assist bike, or we're going to give you a ticket.
Give it up. The pedal assist e-bikes are helpful to a large portion of the population. They are not a problem. Follow the state rules and be done with this silly and unnecessary rule.
So there is one comment here where the Loop Facebook page, I don't know who's behind it specifically, but they responded, good for you, spend all that money on the Loop and then tell a good percentage of riders they can't use it because they ride e-bikes. I have a disability and ride e-bikes to get me off the couch. I'd visit Tucson from Phoenix, ride the trail, go to a brewery and eat dinner. Guess not anymore. And the Loop responded. This is what we were talking about just a minute ago. Do you want to read that part? You want to be the bad guy?
Yeah. Loop users are permitted to utilize select electric motorized vehicles if they can prove a demonstrable medical need. Seriously? That's the most ridiculous thing I've just read. An example would be a user who is temporarily rehabilitating from knee surgery or who is otherwise in chronic pain due to a documented medical condition. We recommend that any Loop user carry sufficient documentation of their medical condition, which necessitates use of a motility device. Don't think that's spelled properly.
That's not the right word.
It doesn't make any sense. It's not clear. That is just one example. There are a lot of other examples that they never listed.
And if we go down through the comments, we basically read the same thing. I didn't see, there could be one hidden in there somewhere that I missed, but I didn't see a single comment agreeing with their decision to ban electric bikes.
No.
It seems like every single one of them is saying, I don't understand why you're not allowing e-bikes. This doesn't make any sense. This video was originally going to be about the Loop, encouraging people who are in the Tucson area to check it out, or if you're traveling through that area, to stop and check it out, because they have a big paved trail. It's
131 miles of it. It's completely paved.
It's safe. It's off the main roads. They have drinking fountains along the path marked on a map. They have benches. There's artwork.
Bike repair stations.
There's a couple of bike repair stations on the Loop itself. There's just a lot of really cool things. But instead, what I have to tell you now is that e-bikes aren't actually allowed, and you could get a
Class 2 misdemeanor.
Yes, a citation for a Class 2. I don't even know what exactly that would result in Arizona.
One guy said, send a cop. I agree.
There were some funny comments about people saying, I ride my e-bike on there now. Go ahead and arrest me. I'm going to keep doing it. We're not encouraging anyone to break the law. What we are going to encourage you to do is, whether or not you live in the Tucson area, I think this is setting a bad precedent. Based on this, I don't see anyone who is for this. And if they are for it, I don't know where they are, who they are in government, but somebody obviously made this decision. But we don't want this to happen in other areas. So I think the best thing to do is to stop it in this area. What do you think?
Absolutely.
So we're going to put a link in the description of this video. Thank you to someone in the comments of this Facebook page who shared this, because there is a feedback section for the Loop Trail on their government website. So we're going to put a link in the description, and you can say whatever you'd like. I'm not going to tell you what to say, but you can go on there and you can type something in and just voice your opinion about what you think. If enough people do that, maybe they'll take notice and say, oh, maybe we should reevaluate this whole e-bike decision, because maybe we don't actually know what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's hope. If they're doing this with 131 miles of paved path, and there's other places in Southern California where people are saying they had 5 miles,
Exactly.
this is a really big deal.
We need the biking capital of the world, self-proclaimed, to actually allow e-bikes on their very nice infrastructure that they've built to entice people to come. I hope you enjoyed the photos and scenery that Jessica got from the Loop.
Riding illegally. Okay, so go to the link that we're putting in the comments. I want you all to fill it out, send it, and then I need you to forward that link to your friends.
If you want to know more about the e-bike laws in the United States, make sure to go check out this video. Where are we going to put the end screen?
Put it in the middle?
Yeah.
Yep.
Make sure to go check out this video right here, where I explain in more detail the laws about electric bicycles in the U.S.